Nathan Cleary lining up against Mitchell Pearce. So the last two New South Wales halves head-to-head, and as Nathan Brown said, we won in week 1 without Pearce or Ponga starring. Do they start tonight? Is it Mitchell? Is it Kalen? Or does a Penrith Panther steal the spotlight? We are set to go at McDonald Jones Stadium. The second leg of your Super Saturday. Do the Knights go back-to-back? Or is there a first-up win for the Penrith Panthers in season 2019? It's Moses Leota leading them forward. Named to come off the bench again, but just like last week, Moses starts and Regan Campbell-Gillard comes off the bench. This man led their go forward up front. James Tarmo, 122 metres, 52 tackles. Even threw a kick in for good measure. All 4 metres off the boot of Jimmy Tarmo. And Penrith take tackle 3 just outside their 20-metre line. Keeping it in the middle of the field. The Panthers really struggling for go forward against Parramatta, despite the efforts of this man Tarmo with his second carry in the opening set. Only just cracked 1,000 running metres. As Cleary completes the first set, putting it high, bringing the fullback forward. It will be allowed to bounce, and fortunately for Newcastle, straight into the hands of Edric Lee.
Well, they got away with that one there, the Newcastle Knights. Sione Matautia getting some attention in backfield.
Here's Newcastle dragged back into their 20-metre zone. It might be a good chance to go down to Andy Raymond and say, good evening to you, Andy. Did you catch what happened to Sione Matautia?
No, he's over here, dislocated finger, and currently having it put back in. All good, is going to get it taped up and carry on. Oh, it's horrible watching that.
There was a spate suffered by James Tarmo as well last week when he scored his try. Jumped back to his feet, saw a finger pointing east when it should have been going west, and he had to have it put back into place as Newcastle put this one in the air, and it's a contest for the ball off the fingertips of Sean Kenny-Dowell, and backwards for Dylan Edwards to clean up.
Some 2 very strange ends to set there early in this game. You would think with the quality of kickers that we have on our hands here this afternoon, they'd be going long and trying to get early field position. Both teams opting for the midfield bomb.
The first run in that set taken by Dallin Watene-Zelezniak, and here's his brother Malachi called in for Josh Mansour, out with a shoulder injury. Nothing too serious, just a problem with the AC joint that we'll see him rested this evening. Katoa fires the ball out for Leota on that right-hand edge, straight into Kalen Ponga, and the ball is free, gathered by Ponga, and the mistake from Penrith gives Newcastle opportunity, which gets even better now.
And that's a double whammy for the Penrith Panthers. Isaiah Yeo doesn't look great.
And let's remember, Gaz, he had to clear concussion protocols to return, and here he is with another head knock in the opening minutes of this one. So he'll be off for
there it is.
A concussion inspection, and given his recent history, he would be at long odds to return.
He just wore the elbow of Sione Katoa straight into the top of his head. Kalen Ponga, great work, getting his body in front. They are going to target him, and there it is, the elbow. Let's hope he is okay, Isaiah Yeo. I think we will see a lot more of the high kicking, Corey, from Nathan Cleary. Connor Watson, he's had his moments under the high ball, not a whole lot of experience at fullback, but I agree with you in regards to Mitchell Pearce. I'd like to see him put it in the corner, really make the Penrith Panthers bring it off their own line, because they did struggle with it last week.
Boys, there's the replacement, Frank Winterstein, who takes up his place on the right edge. James Fischer-Harris remaining on the left at this stage.
Frank Winterstein, he finished a Friday afternoon training session at Manly recently, and by Monday was off to Penrith. The switch from the Seagulls to the Panthers, very late in the piece. And here's a good attacking opportunity for the home team. Pearce, caught by Gavitt, who crosses the 20-metre line, and is captured by Tarmo and Fischer-Harris. Levi goes back the other way, behind Glasby for Pearce. Ponga, who keeps the pass flat and short, well read by the defence again. It was Lachlan Fitzgibbon storming onto the ball and asking some questions of the defence. You can see how close the Knights are. Connor Connor Watson just holds the ball up, jumps back against the angle, and Connor Watson watches the defence open up. Newcastle claim their first try of the game.
James, can you leave us for a sec, please, mate?
I want you to check it, but I'm starting with no try, confirming no disadvantage on defenders.
Starting with what, sorry?
With a try.
With a try, okay, thank you. Henry, last tackle. We're starting with a try. Can you please confirm there is no disadvantage to the Panthers defenders or the bloke in the line?
There was some confusion around the no try. He originally said no try, then he's gone try. As Tamau impeded there by Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
There's definitely contact there between Tamau and Fitzgibbon. Whether he's impeded, he can't just disappear, Fitzgibbon, but Connor Watson has a role to play here as well.
We're looking to determine the contact on James Tamau from Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
I mean, I'd like to see more urgency from Tamau. Then I would probably think no try, but given the urgency that's shown, end of the day, if he is denied any sort of opportunity.
Lachlan Fitzgibbon has stopped in the defensive line and he has impeded James Tamau. We have a decision.
Newcastle
I still like the
denied.
setup play. It was really nice to see Kalen Ponga swing to the right and that left Connor Watson over on that left edge with a lot of space in between defenders.
Just there, mate.
Pop, do you want to come in, mate?
You want to be given that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yep.
Henry Perenara and Bo Scott making the decisions in the bunker for this one. Dave Munro and Chris Sutton, the on-field referees.
Okay. Where are you? Okay. Time back on. Obstruction.
It was James Maloney that come off the defensive line and actually made the decision for Connor Watson to go back on the inside. You're spot on, Gaz. The urgency early in this game from the mid-forwards just wasn't quite there. They get away with one.
James, got to work hard. Go.
Tamo again. The numbers conspired against Penrith last week against Parramatta. Yes, the Eels were responsible for part of their problems, but they also inflicted some pain on themselves. The Panthers, 68% completions, 43% of the ball. As we mentioned, not nearly enough run meters by Penrith's lofty standards as Cleary goes outside for Wanga Blake. And the crossing cover. He's forced to ground by Matautia, able to shake that dislocated finger injury pretty quickly, Matautia. Penrith 25 metres out.
Not on him, hold.
Sione Katoa down the short side and Cleary just drops it underneath. And they'll play it 10 metres out. Winterstein to his feet finally. Now Maloney, who grubbers towards the upright, splits the uprights, and it will be too heavy just. Ridden over the dead ball line by Connor Watson. And now they want a penalty, Newcastle, and very possibly should get one.
It's a penalty out here.
Well, that's two now. Back-to-back penalties for the Penrith Panthers, and rightly so.
And the reason being, Kalen Ponga is fully entitled to accelerate towards the 20 and take as quick a tap as he likes.
Boys, can I play the devil's advocate? The Knights were going to get 7 tackles on a fast restart. They now get 6 tackles on a set restart. Is there an advantage to Newcastle?
Yeah, I'd take it. You get the extra 40 metres from the kick.
He's saying that extra tackle needs to be a big break and a run of significant distance.
It does. And generally, if you're a player, you practice so much on your set pieces. It is a lot easier from a set start.
Levi finds Mitchell Pearce, middle of the ground, on for David Clemmer, as Connor Watson has a knee tended to. We'll keep an eye on the Newcastle fullback when he gets back to his feet. Pearce pushes the pass to ground and it sits up for Jesse Ramian, former Cronulla Shark, who made a really exciting arrival last season for the Sharks. This is Gavitt trying to fend his way clear of defenders, middle of the ground. Ramian 2 seasons at Cronulla, now in his first as a Knight. This is Pearce just measuring his kick out towards the wing of Malachi with Tenny Zalesniak. Instead, it's Dylan Edwards running to the ball and completing the catch. Malachi Watini-Zalesniak now. Playing his second game, Gaz, with his brother Dallin. The first came nearly 2 years ago, 2017, round 6, a 1-point loss to South. They're united again, the brothers.
This was a real feature of the Newcastle Knights game last week, their line speed, particularly when they had their opposition team down in that 10-metre zone.
Dean Farre into his 10th season of NRL. The Penrith centre tackled 10 shy of halfway on the last. And the completion comes from James Maloney, who goes down the middle of the ground, straight to Watson. That knee taped again. And he looks to link up with Edric Lee, but the chase is too good from James Fischer-Harris.
And off the back of that line speed you just mentioned, Gaz, they're starting to win the field position battle up over the 40-metre line with Edric Lee.
Sean Kenny-Dowell looking for some work early in the set. He gets close to halfway. Levi down the short side. Fitzgibbon with an offload to Sean Kenny-Dowell towards his other winger, Edric Lee. Instead, he finds Heimel Hunt. And Hunt walks his way to within 20. The crowd get on the back of their team now. It's Ponga. On to Pearce, quick hands, Watson, 3-on-2, Jesse Ramian, outside for Sione Matautia, still going Matautia. And the defence drifts across to wrap him up 2 or 3 metres short. Final play, Pearce Grubbers finds a way through the defensive line. It rolls over the dead ball line. Newcastle appeal for a penalty. It will be a penalty to Newcastle.
Well, that corner scarred the Newcastle Knights fans last week when the penalty try was awarded. I think a few of them would have been screaming for that. But what a set from the Newcastle Knights. Enterprising play over on the left edge with the offloads. Fitzgibbon back through the middle. There's Ponga getting taken off the football. But again, the nous to shift the ball back to the right edge. And Matautia almost went over. Ponga denied an opportunity. Great start from the Knights.
Hame Sele with a shake of the head. He did impede Kalen Ponga.
And that was he that grabbed Kalen Ponga when they gave away the penalty on the 20-metre line as well. So tough 5 minutes for the young Arncliffe Scots Jr.
Nathan Brown looks on.
Once up down there on the 20 restart, and this one here.
His 74th game in charge of the Knights. His 225th in the NRL.
Collar tucked in. He's caught up to the 2000s up Brownie.
Kalen Ponga knocked all 3 conversion attempts over last week. Here's his first for round 2. The fullback come 5/8 in 2019. To give Newcastle the lead. It goes straight down the middle. 2-0 Newcastle.
It's a really good opportunity there for the Penrith Panthers just to regroup, get some structure in what they're going to do here. Newcastle Knights, as Gaz just mentioned, it's been enterprising. They've been enthusiastic. The energy has been high. As we see here, the no try given to Connor Watson.
That was the run where he picked up the injury and limped away from the no try. You saw him run back into position a moment ago, still a little troubled by that knee problem. Sporting a sharp new haircut as well, Corey.
That is very sharp. Looks like he's paid for half of it.
Haircuts have been a topic, haven't they, over the first round and a bit of the NRL. Here's the restart, high for Pearce to come forward, and Gavitz with the run. Last time these teams met, it was late last season, round 23, and Newcastle ended a rotten run by beating Penrith 20-12 in a fiery encounter. There were 4 players sent to the sin bin, 5 players picked up charges for fighting. I wonder whether there'll be ever or any carryover from the feeling we saw late last season. There will be if that's any indication.
Well, in the last 3 sets here for the Penrith Panthers, they have gifted Newcastle Knights out of their own end with silly, ill-disciplined penalties. This one here, James Maloney, as he so oftenly does, crept a little high, just releases all pressure, all momentum that may be building.
4 penalties to Newcastle so far, just the 1 to Penrith. You can see the crowd in the background here. Great to hear the Newcastle chant go up in round 1 last week against Cronulla. It was a dour game. The Knights won it, and that's all their fans worry about, Gaz. Their team being in front at the end of 80 minutes. Who cares how they get there? Gavitt. Winterstein and Gavitt tangled. Levi shoots out of dummy half. Straight into Leota in the opposition 9. Sione Katoa. Ponga for Pearce, and Clemmer comes up the middle. Still he stands, David Clemmer. This is Pearson all up to make the tackle. Jimmy Maloney one-on-one, shutting Tim Glasby down. And Glasby a little shaken by that shot.
Well, Jimmy's saying there's been a head clash there. I think we'll get another look at it. It might present a different case.
Little man on big man, and huge contact. Glasby, Newcastle's first try scorer of the season, finds the going a little tougher there with Jimmy Maloney jumping into him.
Yeah, I've got him high contact. James Maloney, mate. It's here on the field. Okay.
It's going to be a penalty.
There's no rush. Dave, don't rush. You got one down here. Just hold them up. Yeah, mate.
Glasby will go off under the concussion protocols
Yeah, it's
for
like
interchange
that. Hang on, mate,
with
see the line.
Mitch Barnett about to be the new man on, and a penalty. About to see Newcastle reload here in great position.
Hold the line here, boys.
You right, Dave?
Yeah, mate.
Right,
Wait
here
for
it
the
comes.
kick.
When you're ready.
Go.
Clemmer will set them up. That trademark skip in the run. And again, they can't force him to ground until after the held call.
One foot. Go, one.
Levi to Pearce, and here's Gavitt. Gavitt trying to crash his way through.
Let him up. No,
And takes the tackle from Winterstein.
Hold. Hold.
Levi back towards the open side of the field for Pearce, trying to get away from Fischer-Harris. He can't.
Stand up. Go three.
Levi runs into dummy half. Fitzgibbon goes on, and Newcastle almost breaking the line. Barre the tackle. And it's Heimel Hunt now with a problem. He's slowly back to his feet, holding his neck, maybe hinting at a crusher. Ponga, Pearce, and the new man, Barnett. Pearce will kick, looking for short. Kenny down to get above them. Instead, it bounces. Who did that come off? There's the answer. So Penrith breathed a sigh of relief. The visitors needed that.
And again, they persisted off playing off the middle of the field, the Newcastle Knights. Kenny Dow gets the tap back. Unfortunately, Ramian gets a hand to it. And when they play off the middle of the field, you generally get 5 defenders either side of the ruck. You've got the 2 markers and the fullback that make up the 13. I just think Newcastle are a lot more dangerous when they get past the post and they get that either 6-4 or 7-3 split. You saw what happened with Connor Watson when they did it. I'd like to see him do it a little bit more.
Since Newcastle came into the competition, Penrith have actually built a winning record here. In their last 3 visits, racking up big scores along the way, 42, 30, 29. And they get their second penalty of the game. So 5-2, the penalty counts. Penrith on the wrong end of that. Straight after here, we're going to Lotto Land, to Brookvale. For Manly against the reigning premiers. The Roosters, though, without Cooper Cronk, without Jake Friend. So some changes to the spine forced on Trent Robinson. You'll see it coming up on Fox League. Warren Smith, Greg Alexander, Blocker Roach and Brett Kamali to bring you the action. Game 3, round 2, Super Saturday. Tamo into enemy territory. Now Maloney to the line. He picks out Fischer-Harris. Hunt, along with Gavitt, make the stop. Ponga in there as well. Maloney, the conductor, middle of the field, on for Cleary. Winterstein. Cleary again, on the attack, Penrith. 10 metres out now through Maloney. He'll be forced onto his back. Final play, Cleary is camped on the left. That's the way they come. Cleary shapes to kick, and he will be tackled. There's an offload, a good offload out the back for Maloney to kick across field. They need a leap. It was there for Penrith. It's still there, and Ponga gets on the loose ball.
Yep. Okay, we just got a
Goal on dropout.
There's a bit of a mess here. Stay with Kalen.
So a dropout was their original call, Corey.
They're going to get the ball back here by the looks of things, Penrith Panther. But they don't deserve to. There's a nice kick there from a heads-up play from Jimmy. The 6 and 7 getting caught up, both with the ball on last play. We see there it's been battered back. It's come off Newcastle Knight into Ponga.
So here's the dropout from the boot of Pearce that goes 55 on the fly for Dylan Edwards. And Tamo will bring them back.
Matty, the Penrith Panthers officially down to 16. Isaiah Yeo, coming from the field for the second week in a row, has failed his HIA, and my report is even if he had have passed his HIA, Ivan Cleary was highly unlikely not to throw him back into action just for the young man's well-being.
Makes sense, consecutive concussions in consecutive weeks, Andy. So an easy decision for Penrith, although difficult in the fact that they lose Isaiah Yeo, one of their leaders, as they get a penalty.
It was Gavitt. Collected Maloney late just to let him know that he's always going to be there. Interesting decision here. What do they do, Gaz?
They're going to tap.
This is Hame Sellet. 12 metres out the Panthers, trying to score the first try of the game. Maloney shapes to kick, holds it up for Cleary. Here's Fischer-Harris on the charge. James Fischer-Harris delivers for Penrith. He runs a fantastic line, all purpose and aggression, and that's the reward.
Well, smart play, Jimmy Maloney. Ivan Cleary, he'd be ecstatic. Just watch Jimmy do the fake kick and watch where Kalen Ponga goes. In behind the line, that pulls him out. That makes him over chase on Nathan Cleary. By that I mean go too far, and that opens up the space for Fischer-Harris. Well-worked move and just executed perfectly. There it is. There goes Kalen. Now he's got to overcompensate, sprint as hard as he can. He can't adjust to Fischer-Harris coming back under. That opens up the space. Fitzgibbon can't get there. Lovely play.
That's a very good example of two crafty players knowing each other's games. Maloney going to the line, as you mentioned, Gaz, with a fake kick. The anticipation from Ponga. But then the nous from Fischer-Harris to come on the drop-off line, and a big body like that so close to the line is going to be hard to stop. They hit back the Penrith Panthers.
Nathan Cleary, 2 from 2 last week, trying to convert the Fischer-Harris try. He scored 5 tries in his rookie season. He's in his 4th now, James. 5 tries in his rookie season and hasn't scored since. He snaps a 45-game try-scoring drought, James Fischer-Harris, and that amazes me because he is so aggressive with ball in hand. I don't think it'll be 45 games again until he scores. Cleary can't convert, so 4-2 to Penrith, Andy.
Yeah, certainly is. Connor Watson still getting some treatment for that injured right knee. That's a bit more like what we were expecting of Penrith. A classic bounce back. Many professionals were expecting just that from the Panthers today after a disappointing round 1. Corey Parker, you were one of them, and you see the similarities between, I guess, Brisbane last night and what Penrith need to achieve today.
Yeah, well, it just starts, football's a very simple game, can be over complicated at times. It starts with the big men in the middle, and off the back of that, points will flow, as we've seen here in possession. They needed a response, and they've responded well.
Halfway through the opening 40. Penrith by 2, as Leota comes back. As a starter last week, Moses Leota played 44 minutes, ran for 64 metres, 29 tackles. Not long before Regan Campbell-Gillard enters. In his origin debut last season, Regan, yet starting 2019 for Penrith off the bench, and it's a move that will surprise many, Corey.
Well, it's just that high-energy player, which I guess is why he's on the bench for Ivan Cleary, but I love the way he goes about his football. Last week, statistically, he wasn't great. Expect a different performance from RGC here this afternoon.
Well, a couple of years ago, 2017, he was the Dally M Interchange Player of the Year, and that's his role early in 2019. Here's Cleary, the kick ricochets, and he's left by Gavitt. Ponga cleans up.
I don't think it was left on purpose. Straight there.
The hand, she's a basketballer. James is out here playing league. Her basketball.
With arrest and Aiden.
Thank you, Andy. Puts it out in front of Pierce. Matautia had Connor Watson on the tackle, and it's tackle 5. And he's knocked backwards by Guerra, by Penrith and Maloney. Close. Gives it on to his brother. Together, no, New South Wales. 2 years ago they played in. And the very close to it, Dallin.
To see them mix it up a little bit. Half the Penrith Panthers. Each other. Last week against one of the best dummy half runners. It's quite predictable. Mark, when you're out from dummy half, and the variety always helps.
Far despite that error. 8 of 10. This is Clammer, and they're on him quickly. Selle and Campbell-Gillard, along with Tamo. Relishing the battle that is containing David Clemmer. Barnett forward. And that's appreciated by the Newcastle crowd, that run. Here's Pearce, hitting Guerra. Levi sends it the same way for Ponga, who kicks, but it's into the legs of Dylan Edwards, and Maloney's away. Only temporarily pulled down by Mitchell Pearce and stripped by Mitchell Pearce. It's a penalty to Penrith.
It was a great heads-up play from Edwards at the back. He was in the defensive line. If that ball made it through, they were under all sorts of pressure. Opted to trap and scrap, and they get away with it through Maloney, but the old crafty man passes it to his old sparring partner, and he gets his team. Nice little penalty out of their own end.
And that's the right call. The strip coming after the tackle was complete. If they were on their way down to the ground, then it's a great play by Mitchell, but the timing a little out. And Penrith get good ball here through Tamo. Just over 15 left in a low-scoring first half, which Newcastle will be very familiar with after their struggle against Cronulla, ultimately a winning struggle against the Sharks last Friday. Sione Katoa on for Cleary, who shows it to Tamo. Now it goes through Maloney, quick hands, Farre, and it's forward from Dean Farre. Otherwise there was going to be some stopping required on that man, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak.
And there's that man again, Edric Lee, out there on the left edge, coming flying up out of the line, putting a lot of pressure on the centres. I mentioned he did it last week. There he is, just out the corner of his eye. Farre tried to do quick hands. It's very hard under pressure.
Been a great transformation for Edric Lee defensively over the summer to come in his first 2 games on 2019. At times he's been caught in no man's land, Gaz, as you would know.
Back end of May, gentlemen, magic round, one ground, Suncorp Stadium. Get your tickets, get your flights, get your accommodation. If you can't see Corey, he'll put on a barbecue for you. A few spare beds.
We'll have children, Eamon, but you're welcome.
Big weekend for Brisbane. Corey's home. We can't wait. The magic round. Barnett on for Sione Matautia, who crosses halfway. This is Jesse Ramian, a player with so much potential. A really good recruit for the Knights, if he can live up to that. Pearce, his kick measured by Dylan Edwards, who jumps safely and gets back to ground before being tackled by Sean Kenny-Dow.
Boys, some injury updates down here. Tim Glasby has passed his HIA and is back on the sideline ready to return into action. Now, Isaiah Yeo is on the bike and warming up. Seems to be a little bit of confusion down here amongst the Penrith officials and the NRL medical staff. He didn't, in fact, fail the HIA test, is what they are saying now, but he was unable to get back into the game inside that 15-minute window. Therefore, they were denied an HIA-free replacement. It counts as an interchange.
Okay, so thank you, Andy. Isaiah Yeo, despite that head knock after running into the forearm of Michael Jennings last week as well, he will return. A little wobbly in the first 2 games to start the season, but Isaiah Yeo in game 110 will return to the fields under the watchful eye of Ivan Cleary, who said, the Penrith coach last week, that Isaiah was pretty good very shortly after full time. They virtually cleared him for week 2 after full time in week 1.
Nathan, give space. Time's off. Take it back, Connor. Play it. Time on. 1.
Ramian trying to burst through, but he's held by Tamo before Katoa assists defensively. This is Pearce on for Ponga. A long ball out to Edric Lee for the corner. And Edric's reach is too good. But the supply, the delivery from inside is perfect.
It's beyond perfect. It's brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. Kalen Ponga at his best. Where he receives the football, skips out off the right foot. The realisation that the defenders are playing up and in under a split second. Watch him as he catches the football, bang off the right foot. There it is, sum it up in one, straight across to Edric Lee. That is just pretty to watch. I could watch this all day. Mitchell Pearce to the line, Kalen Ponga puts the confusion in James Maloney. That creates the overlap, and Edric Lee, well, he's on fire.
It's the Ponga projectile, Corey. I called it that last year when he gave similar service to outside men. He possesses a beautiful ball when it goes like that.
Well, there's plenty of talk about where Ponga was going to play, and when he was named in the 5'8" role, a lot of people had opinions based on it. Coach Nathan Brown has given him the reins, and that's the reason why, Gaz. The vision, the class, the execution, to come up with those plays under pressure, as you mentioned, and the finisher, Edric Lee. Hasn't he had a new ray of life in the rugby league?
It's a comeback and a half. What I like about what Nathan Brown's done with his recruitment, you look at the spine. Ponga's 20, Connor Watson's 22, Danny Levi's 23. And you've got a guy like Mitchell Pearce that's played over 250 games at 29 to help them out. They've recruited amazingly well. And I mentioned the expectations up here at Newcastle are huge, and rightly so.
So Kalen Ponga to convert his own good work. That's justice. Full points after a beautiful ball from the new 5'8" at Newcastle. Sideline to Andy. This is beautiful to watch.
Amazing, isn't it? And there's certainly no doubt about Kalen Ponga's ball-playing skills or skills on that side of the football. The most interesting article I read during the week was by our very own Matty Johns in quoting the former Newcastle number 6, and he identified Kalen's defensive abilities, I guess you could say, in the match against Cronulla that we're all made aware of when he made his State of Origin debut under Kevin Walters last year, and he was thrown into the front line, he was thrown into the middle part of the football field. Very good defender, Kalen Ponga, also makes very good defensive decisions. Not too much gets past him.
Herman SASA can't get past Penrith with that strong run. He's in for Daniel Saifiti, out with knee and foot injuries picked up in round 1. The twin, Daniel Saifiti. So Herman plays his first game of the new season today. This is Glasby. Over that head knock that saw him off for an assessment. Pearce drives it long, and he splits the men at the back. It rolls and rolls, not at the right angle for Mitchell or Newcastle. Touch in goal, and Penrith can come back to their 20.
Geez, he can strike the football.
He was lined up for a 40-20 there, Mitch Pearce.
Got every bit of that. Just kicked straight on. Zelezniak was all over it. Dallin, that is.
Now, Danny. Here, Newcastle. Hold. Go 0.
Far right, middle of the ground. Edric Lee scores in the first 2 games of the season, his first 2 games of the Newcastle night. After 5 seasons at Canberra, couple at Cronulla. On to Newcastle for Big Edric. He'll very quickly become a fan favourite if he keeps playing like this. Winterstein. Cleary goes on to Maloney. And dropping underneath, Fischer-Harris beats the first tackle again. Forced to ground by Lachlan Fitzgibbon. Cleary dummying his way forward and offloading again for Yeo. To go on to Jack Hetherington. Now Wanga Blake. Flat-footed to start that play. Edwards onto Maloney, who kicks high towards Edric Lee, who has the reach advantage but knocks it on.
He makes it, it's a knock-on. Wait. It's a knock-on Newcastle. Kalen gets back in the end goal, so it's not offside, it's a knock-on. It's a knock-on.
We get it, knock-on in goal.
We're going to the goal line, boys.
I guess you underestimate the absence of Big Billy Kickow over on this left edge. He gives them so much variety in the set plays they do. He also offers them so much as a threat with his footwork, his strength, and his offload.
Gaz, interesting that you do mention edge forwards at the moment. James Fischer-Harris started on this left-hand side, and because of the shake-up that involved Isaiah, Fischer-Harris has now moved to the right-hand side. Jack Hetherington playing with a bit of left bias here, so the Panthers, their versatility being charged.
What about that run from Regan Campbell-Gillard? Just accelerating and not wavering in his line, and then picked off by Aidan Guerra and maybe another player from Newcastle. Great contact. Cleary for Winterstein. And another penalty. From 5-1 down in the penalty count, we're now at 5-all.
Very important set here for the Panthers to either get a nice clean one away or mount some more pressure.
Jack Hetherington, a good man to do that as he goes to the line. 10 out the Panthers. Scoring the game's only try early, but then it was answered. 8-4 to the Knights. Now Maloney. Through Cleary inside, he finds support. And Dallin Wateni Zelezniak. You can see how close they are, the Panthers. Katoa calling players to his right. And that's the way he sends it. For Maloney to step and find trouble in the form of Fitzgibbon and SASA. Katoa as they try the crash play. Regan Campbell-Gillard was close.
Great defence, goal line.
A feature for Newcastle last week and this week. Here's Cleary threading his kick through. They wait. Did they wait too long? Winterstein. He might have a try for Penrith.
Henry, tackle 6. We have a try. Can you please confirm when the ball's knocked back, he's still in the air?
Well, this is desperation. Malachi Watini-Zelezniak out on this left wing.
Kick chasers onside.
Does not give up on the ball. The ball sits up right at the end. Malachi comes through. That's still play on. He leads from inside. That's
Malachi Watini-Zelezniak has jumped from the field of play, so we have a live ball at the stage.
What a play.
Does Winterstein ground this ball?
Yes, he does.
Oh,
boy.
yes.
Malachi Watini-Zelezniak take a bow. The ball is never
We have a
dead.
decision.
And that man is celebrating a try on debut for the Panthers. Big Frank Winterstein. A debut at the Dogs in 2008. A try scorer at Penrith in 2019. In between, he's been to Super League, to Rugby, to Manly, and now as a Panther, but put it down to the desperation of his winger.
Absolutely. Little kick there from Cleary. But a kick, as you hear, is only as good as its chase, and the desire from Malachi to get there. The ball was gone, the play was done. So many times we see wingers give up on that play. Not this man. Excellent team effort.
As he said this week, I've been around the block a few times. He handled that late move from Manly to Penrith like any professional. And there is proof. Frank Winterstein onto the field, chasing the kick. And now Nathan Cleary steers 2 through. So Penrith with a handy lead at 10-8, but the set started with Regan Campbell-Gillard, the interchange player as he is at the moment, rocking that mo and rocking the defensive line, Corey.
Well, we spoke about before the game about inspiration and what it does. That was his first run. They followed up the Panthers and they just grow off this man.
Okay, Andy Raymond's sideline, if you could pick to have Regan Campbell-Gillard or James Fischer-Harris running at you, who gets your nod?
You would see me running to the car park very, very quickly. Courage isn't my strong point.
Oh, they are two scary forwards as Campbell-Gillard again. He wants more of the same. And to the credit of this defensive line at Newcastle, they stand their ground as well. Herman Essa, he loves it.
Well, the smarter option might be next time to kick away from him.
Herman unable to make 3 in a row as the ball goes away from him. It's Essa and Campbell-Gillard having their own personal battle right now. Dylan Edwards. Good to see his return last week after that shoulder reconstruction that ruled him out after round 8 last season. The baby-faced fullback. And the kick goes down for Connor Watson. Look at this from Nathan Cleary. He chases through. This is good footy.
Yeah, it's taken 36 minutes for the Panthers to hit the lead. And they've now got a bit of life.
Nice and physical as Edric Lee comes up the middle. Big Edric Gould, 196 centimetres of him at 100 kgs. Guerra put down on his back. Fitzgibbon collared by Fischer-Harris. Here's Pearce going along the ground. He's looking to slow it down a little, and it's a good kick, finding touch 5 metres out from Penrith line. Just giving his team the chance to suck in some oxygen and reload for the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's the maturity of Pearcey. 303 kick metres last week. Just getting his team a nice little breather. 2:55 left on the clock. The Panthers, on the other hand, they can sense a little bit of little bit of a counter.
As Mark Gaznier touched on, a feature for Newcastle last week was their line speed in this position of the field. Let's see if they can apply some pressure here to the Panthers. It's Dallin Watene-Zelezniak into Glasby, Matautia. Levi lended his weight to the argument as well. Now Malachi Watene-Zelezniak, 4 years older than his brother with the previous carry. Wanga Blake. And his big body after big body in this Penrith lineup. As here's Dallin on the fly. Making the defence work there. Maloney to halfway, inside. This could be a penalty to Penrith. I thought he was held back, Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, so does James Maloney. And from my view, it looked that way. They were building nicely, the Penrith Panthers.
All up, shot clock's on.
They play back on the inside. They've opened the middle up. Wow.
Close call, but at first look, I expected a penalty. I thought the bunker might have tipped them off.
They were building nicely off the back of those big bodies you mentioned. They're outside back. It's been their real strong suit over the last few years, getting out of trouble.
And Jesse Ramian has dropped that ball, so here's an opportunity for Penrith late in the first half, 1:10. They can construct a full set starting in Newcastle territory.
Okay, Knights, drop here, please.
Jesse Ramian and his teammates have a very important defensive assignment here. Otherwise, they'll be risking bigger than a 2-point deficit in the second half.
Stay down.
It's a situation James Maloney relishes. The chance to land the last blow in the first half. Oh, they put it down! First play, James Fischer-Harris drops the plate all over the floor. Clean that up now. So the pendulum swings back to the Knights and the crowd knows it. Here's a penalty. They're 35 metres out.
Go for 2 here.
To lock us up at half-time.
You're going to go for 2.
Well, it's end to end. It's to and fro. Both teams very evenly matched statistically. But it's who wants to take it by the scruff of the neck in this second half as we get this game won. Again, Jimmy Maloney up round the throat. He only plays that one way, doesn't he, Jimmy?
Kalen Ponga after the halftime siren to lock it up at 10. What a mistake. James Fischer-Harris, Penrith thinking about a 6 or 8 point lead into halftime. And now they're about to trot off, possibly locked together if Kalen can knock this kick over from 35 out. Right in front, he's 2 from 2 this afternoon. He was 3 of 3 last week.
Well, 10-all is probably a fair indication of the game. Early on, it was all Newcastle before Penrith Panthers made a little hit back and has got some ascendancy. And they sort of went punch for punch after that.
Ponga, his kick waved away. So Penrith will lead, but only by 2. 2 tries to 1 to them in the first half by James Fischer-Harris and Frank Winterstein. Let's see if Nathan Brown's team can execute that plan. 10-8 as we resume in the second half. A really good game of footy. Physical up front between these men. Herman Essa, James Fischer-Harris, Frank Winterstein, Regan Campbell-Gillard, all accelerating at times into the teeth of the opposition defence. And it's been good to watch. Now Aidan Guerra, the veteran forward at Newcastle, former Rooster, adding some much-needed experience to the Knights last season after the move. Here's Danny Levi shooting out of dummy half and finding halfway. This is the last, and it's Pearce. And halfway, he puts it high. For Edwards at the back at Penrith, who completes the catch. And now heads across field to find the middle corridor. 2 tries to 1 in the first half. And the try scorers, James Fischer-Harris, the first, and Winterstein, the second for the Panthers. Edric Lee, with Newcastle's only 4-pointer. They had a great record last season, Penrith, as first try scorers, winning all 10, where they post the first 4-pointer. That's what they did today. Courtesy James Fischer-Harris, as Wanga Blake runs onto the ball at speed, Corey.
And it was runs like that at the back end of that first half from their big outside backs that really put them in good stead as they come on a little raid down this right-hand side.
Well, last week they struggled to get past 1,000 run metres. Already Penrith up above 700, so they've improved on that regard. Their completion rate much better as well. And there's another set safely in the bank. The completion by Maloney. His kick taken by Watson, who gets out of the in goal, but only just. Penrith trying to pin the Knights down here. That's tackle 2 for Newcastle. Here's Sean Kenny-Dow, away from Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak, but not Maloney or Isaiah Yeo. Levi again running out of dummy half. Kenny-Dow just beyond the 30. He promotes the ball for Guerra. And that's tackle 5. Still 15 shy of halfway. It's been a good set defensively from the Panthers, and now Pearce tries to kick Newcastle out of trouble. Taken by Dylan Edwards, who's called by Wanga Blake, and Big Wanga can wind up. He can skip as well. Missed best part of 10 weeks last season, Wanga Blake, with that ankle injury. He's out on the left wing for the time being as Maloney keeps it short and flat. Fischer-Harris wrapped up by Levi and Fitzgibbon. Yeo through Edwards on for Winterstein. And he's pushed backwards. Johnny Matautia, but mainly Jesse Ramian responsible for that defensive play. Campbell Gillard. They set up both sides of the ruck, and it comes for Maloney. He puts it in the air. Connor Watson under some pressure here. Watson gets the ball. There's a penalty because a chasing player was taken out.
That's caught
And
in the
Penrith
goal.
are right in front.
It's consistent what we saw in the first half. Kalen Ponga taking off the ball, Newcastle getting a penalty. This time it's Edwards. Nice little kick around the post there from Jimmy. Edwards pouring through the middle third. And it was that man, Ponga, who just got his body in position.
What do you make of that penalty, Gaz? So Ponga eyes only for the ball, but he was running a line.
I think Edwards definitely put on his acting shoes a little bit, but you only have to touch him. We saw with Josh Hodgson last night with Cameron Smith. I think the cue is, Matty, don't go anywhere near him. I think the referees are trying to enforce.
Here's Isaiah Yeo. Yeo tries to get the leg drive going. Isaiah! He might have gone more than close. He could have scored here.
Yeah, so do I. Very good. Good.
I'm happy, mate.
Dave Munro says yes, he has scored. Isaiah Yeo just was allowed to keep going. It looked too casual. It looked too easy for Isaiah. He's been in the action, hasn't he? A couple of weeks in a row now.
And it's off Maloney again, just changing the point of attack. Isaiah Yeo had no right to get there. There was 4 men involved. Meets the defensive line. He's a big, strong thing. He turns, he twists. Desire to get there, the skipper.
Gaz, first contact came about 6-7 metres out from the goal line. In the end, there were 5 Newcastle Knights there. Nathan Brown will be disgusted with that defensive display.
He will. The change of angle, it has caused some concerns for the Newcastle Knights, but he just spins out of the Levi tackle and the SASA, which is no easy feat. Connor Watson can't get in there to help out and plants the ball down. And
Referee's in terrific position there, although the pictures may suggest otherwise.
looked a little bit short there, didn't it? They were very confident, though.
Yes.
Cleary will add 2 more to the tally. Isaiah Yeo in his 6th season at Penrith He was part of all 26 games last season. St John's Dubbo Jr., a real warrior for the Penrith Panthers.
I think that's a bit of a cue for him too, Matty. They've tried to test each other's edges a lot and not with a whole heap of success. I think that's where the success will come, back through the middle. We saw Fischer-Harris come under late. Inside those back rowers, I think where the joy will be for both teams, in fact. He's a warrior, Isaiah.
24 years of age. Nathan Cleary. Appreciating that simple conversion attempt. They jump out by 8.
Danny Levi is off. Kurt Mann is on for the Newcastle Knights in that hooking role.
It's a good interchange too. He made a big difference last week, Kurt Mann.
Newcastle Junior here through their junior teams, then off to Melbourne and St George Illawarra before returning for his first season as a Newcastle NRL player. And knock-on called here against Penrith. It did bobble into an opposition player. That constitutes a knock-on, so sorry, Jack. You got to give it up. Good position coming here for the Knights.
Once again, the Panthers just unable to complete a set after points. Just allows the Newcastle Knights to get a sniff, regain some momentum.
Arms over. Siani, can you put your arm over for us, mate? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So Newcastle with no one on the short side. They fan out here to the left. So obviously that's the way the ball comes for Ponga, who's held grimly by James Maloney. Around one ankle. It was enough. Here's Connor Watson. Over that early knee scare. Clemmer winds up towards the uprights. Stopped by Yao and Edwards. Man for Pearce. Now Ponga. Skip into the outside. Cleary stays with him. Assisted by Winterstein. This is SA. Still going forward before Campbell Gillard goes down around the knees. Final play. And it's man kicking into Penrith. 6 again, picked up by Clemmer. And the pressure builds on Penrith. Pearce marshalling the troops. Ball in hand now. He goes on to Fitzgibbon. Gibbon walking, dragging Penrith with him. Clemmer tries to get the legs going.
Jack and James got to get up together.
He opens up both sides of the field for Mann, who goes towards Pearce, stepping back at an angle. Mitchell Pearce goes very close. Tackled by Hetherington and Edwards. SA has it go over his shoulder for Connor Watson. The feet are going every which way. He can't free the arm though. And Jimmy Maloney again pestering the Newcastle fullback. Pearce kicks, beats the diving Penrith player, and Kalen Ponga slams his hand down on the ball.
Okay.
The bunker will decide this one.
Henry, tackle 6. I have a try. Can you confirm Browning, please?
Well, Regan Campbell-Gillard is fuming. He comes across in desperation for the Panthers. Pearce kicks. Man looks to be offside, whether he gets involved.
Kalen Ponga is onside, however, Kurt Mann is offside at this stage, so we'll follow it through.
Campbell-Gillard gets caught up there with the
Kurt
referee.
Mann stays out of play, so we're playing on at this stage.
Ooh. Did Ponga miss the ball?
He's missed it.
You got to remember, it's try on field. I agree. I don't think he's got a
We're
forearm or
looking
a
to
hand to that.
determine whether Kalen Ponga touches the ball.
That's no
Problem is there a definitive angle that says he did not touch that
Well,
ball?
well, there's evidence to suggest he didn't get it, guys, from my point of view.
He must have good eyes. But I agree.
Well, the
Yeah,
ball's bouncing. It hasn't stopped, and it's...
For me, it's no try.
Yeah, absolutely. That's...
I
know what
agree,
you're saying.
it's been awarded try. That's
It
the only
has
thing
to
I'm
be
getting at.
conclusive proof to the
Correct.
contrary.
Correct.
Is it conclusive that Kalen Ponga didn't ground that ball with hand or forearm? I'm still saying
Kalen Ponga
yes.
has not touched the ball. The ball has gone backwards at this stage.
So it'll be a line
And
drop
Nathan
out.
Cleary takes the ball dead. We have a decision.
The Newcastle Knights, they've really got to adjust to the up and in defence of the Penrith Panthers. There was probably 3 occasions there they could have just kicked him behind. Out here, Vare, he's flying out of line.
So Henry Perinara, Bo Scott come up with what I think's the right call. No one cares what I think, Corey.
Well,
I
we're
agree.
going from try now till he hasn't touched the ball.
Nico, push up, Nico.
Well, that's the on-field.
Stay behind him, boys.
You can't blame the on-field ref.
Let's go, James.
It's pretty hard.
Stay behind.
So the goal line dropout from Maloney to Ponga, and David Clemmer says, I want some of this action. He goes hard and fast. Or as fast as Dave can go anyway, into Isaiah Yeo and Jack Etherington. Now SASA. Nice and direct as well. Towards Yeo again, this time assisted by Campbell, Gillard, Pearce, Ponga, and he's wrapped up Frank Winterstein.
That's a terrific read.
Man has to hurdle Winterstein, and now he can't fling Campbell Gillard away. Pearce inside for Clemmer. And again, Campbell Gillard, ball and all. Final play, and it comes to Pearce at the 10. His kick a little too cute, and it's Winterstein cleaning it up for Penrith.
Really good defensive set there from the Panthers. They were up, they were in the face, they were frustrating. We heard Nathan Brown at half-time wanting his troops to get a little bit deeper. That was the reason why.
We mentioned the game to follow this one as Malachi Watene-Zalesniak is tackled. Manly Roosters from Brookvale, no Cronk, no Jake Friend, but Victor Radley will play hooker. Isaac Liu in at lock, and young Lachlan Lamb on debut, gentlemen. Adrian Sun, good to see the next generation in a Roosters debut. Straight after this one, the kick, 40-20 possibly. Connor Watson knew it, and Fischer-Harris is on the charge. Watson gets back there. He's tackled by Edric Lee. His friendly fire smashes Connor Watson in goal. So the kick from Penrith does the job. Talk about bang for your buck. Where do you start there?
It was a great kick, Maloney. Connor Watson did amazingly well. Gets the ball back in play. Then realises Fischer-Harris, he's flying through. Has to get back to the football. Look at Edric Lee. He gives him a nudge, but he smashes Connor Watson in the process.
But
Friendly little push there.
Is James Fischer-Harris allowed to push Edric Lee like that? Edric Lee accelerated into pole position and then copped a bump in the back. It's like a couple of V8s going at it.
And does Edric get credited with the tackle?
Yes, he does. He's a winger.
You're a motorsport fan, Corey. Rubbin's racing, isn't it? There was just a bit of rubbin. A couple of V8 supercars going at it. Fischer-Harris and Edric Lee inside the 20. Penrith out by 8, looking to land a big blow. Maloney gives it on for Campbell Gillard. Forced to ground by Matauti, who has to be careful with that manoeuvre. Cleary, and he's 5 metres out. 12 and a bit gone in the seconds. Edwards, his pass behind Hetherington, who cleans up, loses the ball backwards again. And this is the last. Egan into the dummy half position, onto the field, and knock on is the call. So a late tip to the referees.
Both teams attack again. Timing's a little bit out, as expected. It is only the second round. Isaiah Yeo, well, I thought it was the previous one that they awarded the knock-on for, but timing's a little bit out. Again, they're still persisting, targeting Pearce and Ponga. The Panthers, that is. I just think they'd have a lot more success back through the middle.
Boys, just listening to Nathan Brown and his communication with the bench down here, and the focus over the next 10 minutes is going to be about pace of the game. They feel that they're being bullied by Penrith into playing the style and the speed of play that Penrith want to play. Nathan and the Knights are going to try and quicken up their attack and slow down their defence and also their decision-making.
Well, Andy, Penrith have been a very good second-half team. First half, different story. Since round one last year, they've lost their first halves by 106. They've won the second halves by 160. What a difference between first and second halves for the Panthers since early 2018. Here they are out by 8, but in their period of the game, the second half.
And that's where the game's been won here at the minute. It's just the energy defensively.
All up. Shot clock's on.
James Maloney starting to turn the screws. We saw a 40-20 attempt. They got the ball back. He's been in everything. He's barking orders. But defensively, the Panthers have really upped their game, their line speed, their contact. Really starting to frustrate the Knights.
Hey, very big blindside here again.
Yeah, talk to me
Taylor,
then.
hold him, mate.
Everyone heads in. Jack arm over. Shot clock on.
Maloney talking
Come on, we're
to
bound.
Fare and
Put it in.
Wateni Zalesniak. They're on the right side of this scrum, and that's the way the ball comes. Maloney takes the line on.
Kalen, let him
And
out.
leaves.
In hole. Wait, David, wait.
Humble Hunt slowly back to his feet. Out to the wing to defend. This is Fare.
Stand up now, David. He's the only-
Penrith looking to capitalise on that midfield domination. Jack Hetherington off and James Tamar back onto the field.
Thank you, Andy, as Dylan Edwards puts a step on and is driven towards the eastern sideline. Here's Wanga Blake. Across field and just sitting it up for Campbell Gillard. One test for Fiji, 5 internationals for Australia. Regan Campbell Gillard. This is Maloney. And now a chance for Penrith. Dallin Wateni Zalesniak back across field, trying to create numbers. Cleary spins away from Matautia. He gets it on for Edwards. He bounces off a couple of bumper bars and goes to ground. Cleary again finds his kick through. The chase is brilliant from Wanga Blake. And Wanga slams it down to claim another try for Panthers.
Henry,
Tackle 6.
tackle 6. I have no try. Can you confirm a knock on by Wanga Blake, please?
Geez, he definitely got there. There's no two ways about that. It appears he's onside. I thought he grounded it live. No. Oh, I don't know.
Well, do we go?
He's
Wanga
gone
Blake
no
knocks the
try.
ball on in the end goal. We have a decision.
Well, bang, there it is.
Hey.
He's made the call.
20.
Well, knock on in goal. And I guarantee you, Gaz, had the on-field decision been tried, we would have been looking at that for much, much longer.
Exactly right. But see that play over to the right edge of the Penrith Panthers? Then they went back through the middle. Nathan Cleary found himself in all sorts of space. Unfortunately, he was standing still for Panthers fans, but that created the space back through the middle.
We've got to work hard here, boys.
Had a nice strike rate last season. Wanga Blake, 16 games in that injury-riddled season, but 13 tries from his 16 games. So life yet for Newcastle. Down by 8 points, but an eternity to play. 24 minutes left at Hunter Stadium. And a big Newcastle crowd willing and able to cheer their team home. Clemmer crosses halfway. Man finds Ponga, who gets the ball away for Fitzgibbon. His pass intercepted by Dallin Wateni Zalesniak. He turns Edric Lee inside out before the Newcastle winger bites back.
Here's the 10, Newcastle. And White. Go, that's one.
This is Maloney stabbing his kick through for Kenny Dow. And he falls on the ball to make sure of it. Malachi Wateni Zalesniak bearing down.
Well, Dylan Edwards, he was demanding that. Maloney caught him out the corner of his eye late, so he eventually kicked it, but geez, Ivan Cleary wouldn't be happy with that.
Now, Mitch Barnett, you say about Newcastle having a good draw to start the season. 4 of their first 5 games here at Newcastle, but with that comes pressure to deliver early in the season, to win the games you're expected to win at home. It's only a good draw if you capitalise on it. They're out of the blocks well, beating Cronulla. Can they come back to down Penrith? Here's Pearce. His kick has Dylan Edwards backpedaling into position nicely. There's plenty of room for the Penrith fullback, who's rocked by Kalen Ponga. Maloney finds Wateni Zalesniak onto his brother Malachi. Quick hands from Cleary onto Wanga Blake. Willing to promote the ball and move the ball in or around their own 20, Penrith.
You see in the replay box, Kalen Ponga. We saw what he did last year in the Origin series in the middle third of the field. Hit Edwards with everything he had then, trying to inspire his troops.
That's part of the reason he requested a move to 5'8". He likes the defensive work. He likes putting his body on the line. If he does that or manages that role, who knows? Here's the kick from Whare. In the middle of the field where Sean Kenny-Dowell is in position. And he gets the ball away for Watson. Risky pass, but it works. Quick play the ball from Watson. And this is Kurt Mann. Kenny-Dowell winds up. Now Mitch Barnett. First couple of games have seen Barnett off the bench, as was this man, Herman Sa. His first run for the season. In fact, it's Heimel Hunt playing the ball. And Pearce goes high to complete the set again. He'll pick out Dylan Edwards, and Edwards gets away from his opposite.
They're just trying to apply the pressure here in Newcastle. Now it's been an eternity since they've been in the red zone of the Penrith Panthers. I'd love a little error here.
Malachi Wateni Zalesniak, tackled by Hunt. Now Tamo. Tamo approaching 100 running metres again, backing up what he did last week.
That man there, Campbell Gillard, hasn't he been good this afternoon? Up over 140 run metres for his team.
Wanga Blake hits the ball at speed, only gets to halfway, tackled by Barnett. This is the last of Penrith. And Maloney drives it at body height through the line, making it tricky for Connor Watson, but it rolls and rolls too far. A banged up Jimmy Maloney, not for the first time during his long and decorated career.
We're finding a lot of space in both defensive lines. One of the reasons, I think, just observing the last couple of minutes, almost all of the tackles, the ball runner is creating multiples in the tackle. He's getting 3 players minimum in on the tackles. When you're getting that many men in and around the ruck, obviously space is going to open up a little wider, and both attacking units have really identified that.
Here's Kurt Mann, Andy, to halfway. Watson for Clemmer, and Fischer-Harris was up quickly.
James, let's go! Get out, James. Yeah, wait, we'll make it.
Pearce called by Barnett. He took a good legs tackle again. It was Wade Egan. This is Pearce on for Jesse Ramian. Nathan Cleary's up to the challenge. Good stop, 12 metres out. Sione Matautia finds Pearce, the kick across field towards the wing of Edric Lee. Instead, Heimel Hunt came up with the ball, or did he knock it on? The latter is your answer.
Well, Fitzgibbon knocked it on. Heimel Hunt did amazingly well. He caught the football, tried to throw it back to Fitzgibbon. He came up with the knock on.
Heimel Hunt nursing a big egg on the side of his head, and there's the knock on as you picked out, Gaz. Down by 8, the Knights. Penrith looking to close it out in this final 20 minutes to notch their first win of the new season.
Oh.
Good shot, Ponga again, rocking Dallin Wateni Zalesniak. And Maloney, his kick turns Watson around again.
He needs it to hold up here, Jimmy.
And it doesn't. It bounced on the line, then back into the field of play, or the in-goal area.
The idea was spot on, the execution just off. Play 3 kick there, looking to turn Newcastle Knights around and attack with their defence.
Isaiah!
The game of inches, Gaz. He got it quite. We've seen the replay box here. Just one bounce too long.
And now Penrith have the ball back tomorrow. The Sunday ticket starts with Canterbury hosting Parramatta. Andrew Voss, Michael Ennis, Stephen Roach, Brett Kamali bringing you the action from ANZ Stadium. Dogs, Eels. Bit of history right there.
Oh, that's back-to-back errors. Panthers forced an error with some great defence. And Maloney just comes up with this error. The game's just there for the taking. I know that's stating the obvious, but again, the early rounds, just that fatigue. Your legs are heavy, your lungs are hurting, your timing's out. Cops a whack in the back for his troubles. Ramo.
Look at the Newcastle crowd, 19,451. Every time the Knights are on show, so are their fans. We're yet to hear that famous Newcastle chant, but I guarantee you if the Knights go over here, kick the goal and trail by 2, you'll hear the chants. Look at Lachlan Fitzgibbon, the crowd favourite with his intent. Ponga. Gavitt was lining up for a run. He went unused. He finds himself in behind the ruck.
And that's where I'd like to see Kalen pick his times, but I know he's trying his guts out. He wants to get involved, but if he sat on the long side there off Mitchell Pearce, there's more space, there's more opportunity for him. I think that's one thing you find with 5'8" as they mature, they pick their moments.
Final play, Knights. Pearce puts it high. That's been the preferred option. And again, it's Dylan Edwards, unchallenged. How many kicks has the Penrith fullback taken with all the time in the world to use? Watene Zelezniak thought about the offload. James Gavitt said no to that. First contact made by Jesse Ramian. And now it's Malachi Watene Zelezniak.
See here, if Jimmy Maloney opts to kick early in the count and turn them around, they're just starting to get a little bit of ascendancy, the Newcastle Knights. The crowd's starting to get behind them.
Regan Campbell-Gillard, he's a good man to have out there at this stage of the game. Jimmy Maloney, every club he's been at has made the grand final during his time. Cleary gets a nice torpedo upfield. It will take some catching. Connor Watson did well. He made it look much easier than what it was. Then it got a whole lot harder. James Maloney, using his body like a battering ram this afternoon, has inflicted more damage on the Knights.
Well, I thought that was a shoulder charge at first, but he's not afraid to put his body on the line. James Maloney. It was an amazing take from Connor Watson. The ball was sitting high, turning over, moving in the air. Did outstanding to get it, and then whack. No, that's just a solid tackle, Maloney. The left shoulder, watch this. Oh!
Well, he bursts a few eardrums with his mouth, Jimmy Maloney, but he's used his body as a battering ram today.
Well, we talk about inspiration. And when your 5'8's coming up with a play like that, 15 minutes to go, you're up. He gives him a mouthful. You're up by 8. He's in everything, Jimmy.
Here's Maloney again. Flat for Tamo, a try scorer last week, Big Jimmy. From little Jimmy to Big Jimmy. Now Cleary. Newcastle trying desperately to stay in the game. Maloney. And here's Isaiah Yeo. Looking to land the knockout blow. Penrith attack from close range. Good tackle to deny Campbell-Gillard. Maloney long and flat. Here's Whare. He had Dallin Watene-Zelezniak out wide, but couldn't use him, well marked by Edric Lee. And Newcastle survive only just.
One thing they are doing at the moment is they're using up plenty of gas, the Knights. They're hanging in there, their tenacity, they're tough.
Edric Lee grabbed the intercept to make sure of the win last week. Can he come up with some magic late here? Not on that run now, Clemmer.
Danny Levi back on the field for Kurtman.
Jesse Ramian, you heard the contact. He bounced backwards and was able to go again. Did he lose the ball there, Jesse? Play on the rule. Ponga, nice ball, opportunity here. Heimel Hunt gets away, still going Heimel. He needs support. Edric Lee went unused. Back towards the middle of the ground for Pearce to kick across the field towards Sean Kenny-Dow. It's knocked on by Penrith. Chance here for Sione Matautia. He needs to stay in the field of play. And there'll be no advantage ruled. Back for the knock-on against Penrith.
Knock on.
I love that play from Kalen Ponga. Just as he caught the football, he straightened, which squared Maloney up. He got the ball perfectly to Heimel Hunt. They came down this left edge, and then Sean Kenny-Dow, Mitchell Pearce, has kicked for him for a long period of time. Puts it in the perfect spot. It was Wonga Blake that got up first. He can catch the football as well. Just comes up with the knock-on. Sione Matautia, he backed himself, tried to skip on the outside, get the offload back in. No advantage played there, but still perfect position for the Newcastle Knights.
I mentioned the chant. Here it is.
You would expect that they're going to come this left edge. On some good shape, Gaz. Ponga.
They've got to realise too that players can come back underneath Ponga because he skips out so naturally. They keep trying to play around teams.
Ramian back on an inside ball. Big and strong.
It was a very fortunate cramp for Penrith right there.
It's amazing when they come.
Very fortunate. They just freshen up a little as they get to withstand, or get set to withstand a Newcastle onslaught. Ponga to Watson. Outside for Edric Lee! And Big Edric goes over back to back.
Oh, Jimmy.
I'm starting with a try.
We'll start with a try, but will we finish with a try? Did Edric Lee get this to ground?
Henry.
He may have pulled off a miracle, Maloney.
Tackle one. We have a try. Can you please confirm grounding and whether it's been stripped out? If it's been stripped out, we'll have a goal line.
He stepped back inside Zalesniak. Here's Maloney. He's going to rip this out.
No try yet.
Oh,
Jimmy
that's amazing.
Maloney.
Wow.
Take a bow.
What a play. James Maloney.
If Penrith go on to win this game, the defence, not the attack
Yep.
or the organisation, the defence of Jimmy Maloney will be a key reason behind it.
And it's come under
Edric Lee has
scrutiny.
lost possession in the end goal. We have a decision.
His defence has come under scrutiny from time to time. This afternoon, he has been inspirational. He has got claret running from his head. His desire to get across there.
No try, knock on.
So they've ruled knock on, not stripped in the act of scoring.
Two huge plays for his team.
So rather than giving the ball back to them, Penrith will keep possession. Edric Lee seemed sure to score.
That's just great desperation. Look at his teammates. They appreciate it.
Okay, got a hold here, boys. It's for the tap, not the whistle.
32 years old and about 5'9", 5'10", Jimmy, against Edric Lee, 26, and about 4 metres tall.
32, Jimmy. Jeez.
I think I might have sold him a bit short there.
He looks 40.
I think he nudges 6 feet.
Lachlan, let him up.
He will if you ask him anyway. So Ivan in charge of game 100 as a Penrith coach. Will be a happy milestone for Ivan Cleary. Game 297 overall as the head coach. But 100 at the Panthers in his second stint at the foot of the mountains. Cleary for Leota, who loses his legs. Mitch Barnett, nice tackle. 10 metres into his own half. Egan shows it once for Maloney, goes outside. James Fischer-Harris, a try scorer today, and then the kick from Fare is far too long. Penrith have to keep playing hard. Newcastle only one try away from setting up the grandstand finish. It's been good footy. Backing up what we saw last night, firstly in Canberra and then at Suncorp Stadium. But I think had the best first 40 minutes of the season, Corey. Brisbane against North Queensland.
It produced once again, didn't it? Wasn't the 1-point finish we're all looking for.
James Gavitt plays the ball. Newcastle looking for that converted try, and Ponga is one man who can provide. Levi for Pearce, numbers now. Fitzgibbon plays his hand beautifully for Edric Lee, who holds the pass up. Fitzgibbon wanted the ball back but didn't get it.
Space out the right.
Pearce knows that, goes through Watson. Here's Jesse Ramian, bouncing back, able to go again. Support players inside, and Ramian puts head down and gets the penalty. 9 minutes to play, 16-8.
Would you play for two here, Gaz, or go for the try?
No, I'd go for the try. The try applies pressure. It's different when it's a 2-point ball game compared to when it's 6.
Yep. When you're ready.
Hold on, Isaiah.
There's 2 guaranteed points here to go within a converted try. They're on board with you, Gaz, the Knights. They want their try now. They can think about it again if they like. But you know what the answer will be? We'll tap and go again, thanks, sir.
Wait
We'll
for
have
the
to be
kick.
careful here.
Onside now.
Gavitt. Still going, James Gavitt.
Let's go, Blake, get him. Hold the line. Hold.
Newcastle putting this goal line defence under the blowtorch. Ponga for Heimel Hunt. Little fumble. A few heart flutters in the crowd. Levi to Pearce and Fitzgibbon. Good contact again, made initially by James Maloney to deny the offload. 3 in a row. And quick ones. Is there a warning here?
James, that is 3 very quick ones against your team. We don't want any more.
What was that penalty for?
Okay, come.
Now it's Lachlan Fitzgibbon cramping up.
Yeah, he's got the ball. That's on you for being offside. What we've also had there, Isaiah's way early, Nathan with the strip. We don't want another one quickly.
We'll try not to, mate. We
Okay.
don't want to keep doing tackles.
We do not want another one.
We'll try not to. We don't want to keep doing tackles.
Well, I
Hold
thought
the
James
line, boys.
Maloney would want to keep doing tackles this evening, given the
Take it
way
back.
he has been tackling.
Hold the line, boys, hold the line.
Another bit of
Wait.
experience here.
Wait.
Clemmer starts the set. The crowd finds its voice again. Pearce to Barnett on the fly. Mitch Barnett! Oh! What about that run? That is nothing but desperate intent.
Happy hop.
Nothing was going to
Rico.
deny Mitch Barnett. And that is the sort of try this crowd adores.
Well, he had 20,000 Novocastrians behind him. Barnett back on the unders line. Intent, desire, everything. Hits the defensive line and has plenty of work to do.
Smart play there is as well. They isolated Dylan Edwards. It's no coincidence that they ran across field. They wanted to isolate Dylan Edwards on his line. Been in the defensive line the whole time. And geez, what a 6.5 minutes we have, Matty.
That's the view from Rover, Fox Rover. My sons want one each if the bosses are listening. Here's Kalen Ponga nudging it over. 16-14, 6.5 to play. What a way to continue your Super Saturday on Fox League. Mitch Barnett, as the Knights started rebuilding, he was one of the first players, maybe the first player, signed to a long-term contract. The Wingham Tigers, 24-year-old now. They knew they had a good one in a man who started his career with 2 NRL games at Canberra. And he's rewarded that long-term faith with a show there of desperate determination.
He's got a lot of skill, Mitch Barnett. We saw it last year. He got a good little kick in behind. Played a lot on the edge. Good offload, good feet. But so far in what we've seen in 2019 is just toughness, and that man, Kalen Ponga, been pretty prominent down that left edge.
And he's bound for Matty Johns on Sunday night. You'll see Kalen Ponga. But will he be carrying a win into the Clive Churchill studio to talk about? To wrap up week 2 with Matty. Well, the next 6 minutes will decide, and David Clemmer will play a role in deciding.
Hey, James.
James, let him up. Regan gets square. Hold.
Here's Sean Kenny Dow.
Wide off the legs.
Penrith so much better than last weekend, but do they close out a victory? And what a big win it would be on the road in Newcastle, off the troubles that they found last weekend. Levi crawling his way upfield. Watson to Pearce, who again puts it high, again towards Dylan Edwards, who again makes a comfortable catch.
Need a big set here from their outside backs, the Panthers.
Dallin Watene-Zelezniak on to his big brother Malachi. Look at the line speed from the Knights, trying to pin Penrith down. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak this time goes it alone and gets just beyond the 20. Egan in front of Leota for Tamo. Strong run. Now Maloney puts it out in front of Pearce. A long ball to Wongablade. Numbers here for the Panthers. Malachi Watene-Zelezniak has Mitchell Pearce around his midriff. This is the last. Cleary, a wobbly boot. It goes backwards, in fact. Knocked on now by the man who kicked it. Not his best moment, Nathan.
Well, that's the third time tonight the football has gone in the hands of the wrong person for the Penrith Panthers on the last play. Fischer-Harris didn't realise, he ran out from dummy half, put Cleary under all sorts of pressure, and he came up with a kick that reflected that.
Oh, they've got a drop ball. Gavitt.
A shake of the head from James Gavitt. I reckon his coach might be doing a bit more than that.
Well, both sets of fans. It's just gone either way. One gets ascendancy, comes up with an error. The other comes up with the same thing.
Heads in, boys.
Luckily, Brownie's got no hair to lose.
And they're in hot. Newcastle's all in. Time is off.
This is where you see the likes of James Maloney, who we've spoken a lot about this afternoon. His maturity, his experience.
All in. Out.
So Dylan Edwards.
Mitchell, let him go here.
Tackle 1, 30 out from Newcastle's line. Time ticking away in this one. 3.5 left. 2 points the difference. Egan puts it out in front of Maloney, and now Campbell Gillard backing his way into the defence. Hame Sele for Maloney, and this is Yo. Hummel Hunt makes the tackle along with Barnett inside the 10 Penrith. Egan in front of Sele to Campbell Gillard, who's held just dizzy. Sonny Matautia stopping Regan Campbell Gillard. Last play, the kick into the end goal. Ponga had to play at it. And it will be a goal line dropout forced on the Knights.
It's a nice little touch there at an acting half. Egan. Everyone was set up for Maloney on the long as we go for a short kick.
Taken by Maloney. He has been in everything. James Maloney. Dean Farre. He explores the line. Finds no way through. This is Cleary. Showing it once, and they accelerate onto the ball through Fischer-Harris. Cleary again. onto Maloney. Maloney finds Yeo. Isaiah Yeo standing, looking for support. Desperate scrambling defence doing the job for the Knights. Egan. Maloney again. This is Farah who puts it down.
That was 2 huge tackles from Hymel Hunt. In the first set, he had to come in off his line, and Isaiah Yeo, he did it twice. Kalen Ponga got caught, he had to go in. Therefore, as all good centres do, they follow them in. Barre comes up with the error, but great defence. And I mentioned the edge defence of the Newcastle Knights. So much improved on 2018 and the years previous.
Everyone's here, Dylan. Thank you.
But a big set, their last roll of the dice.
Just a quick bit of praise for Regan Campbell-Gillard. 62 minutes for 34 metres last weekend. Tonight, he's up to 170 run metres.
Yeah, there's some great performance for both sides. Clemmer surpasses his last week's run metres. He's up over 200.
Now Aiden Guerra. Just over a minute left. Newcastle at the wrong end of the field. Pearce holds up the pass, goes over the top, putting Hymel Hunt under all sorts of pressure. Dallin Watene-Zelezniak sweating on the tackle. They flood the short side. Pearce goes long to Edric Lee, but forward and long. Penrith, with 40 seconds to play from here, should shut it down.
You would think so, and it's been a real determined effort from the Penrith Panthers. No doubt about it, defence, resilience, if they are to go on and win this, has done that for them.
I've got no doubt, Gaz, at the start of the week, Ivan Cleary would have challenged his leaders, Maloney, Campbell-Gillard, Tamo. And boy, oh boy, they have stood up here this afternoon if they go to win. It's been a great game of football.
Just the performance, gents, that man wanted before his team goes to Bathurst next weekend to play unbeaten Melbourne.
Just watch long passes near Edric Lee, I'm sure Ivan Cleary would have said. Jimmy, if the eyes light up, just hold on to it. I'm sure would have been the message.
Jimmy will take his time here. He'll pump it 3 times before he puts it in.
No mucking around here, Dave.
Scrum.
In, out.
Egan on to Dallin Watene-Zelezniak. 20 seconds to navigate for Penrith to open their account in 2019.
James up there.
James got to get
Caleb, make it, Caleb.
Good work by Watene-Zelezniak, and now he forces time to be called off. 6 seconds to play.
Let's go.
Who's going to take this final run? Harmay-Sele to the 10-metre line. Is there time for one more play the ball? The answer's no, and fittingly, James Maloney is front and centre in that final play. Congratulations to the Penrith Panthers, holding on grimly, defending grimly, playing with such purpose, and beating the Newcastle Knights 16-14. What a win off the back of defeat at home to start the season, to come to Newcastle, to firstly score the opening try, to lead at half-time, to build on that in the second half, but then withstand the Newcastle chant as the Knights came back at them. It's a real victory worth praising.